Manipulators hate this trick: how to shut down their control over you. Anti-NLP defense. In our daily lives, in communication with friends, colleagues, and sometimes even with our closest ones, we occasionally encounter situations where we feel strange. It's such an elusive, almost imperceptible sensation, as if an invisible hand is pushing us towards decisions that aren't entirely ours, or the interlocutor's words evoke an inexplicable feeling of guilt, anxiety, confusion, or even slight aggression that we can't explain. We might not realize it immediately because these techniques are very subtle, but over time, a persistent, intrusive feeling arises that we are being cleverly led along a certain path, forced to agree with something we might not agree with, or to act in a way that benefits someone else, not ourselves. This is not always a direct command, open aggression, or obvious pressure. Often, these are subtle, barely perceptible techniques, a kind of psychological hooks that manipulators use to make us doubt ourselves, feel obligated, guilty, or simply uncomfortable to refuse. These methods can be so inconspicuous that we cannot always precisely identify what exactly is causing our discomfort. We just feel out of place, as if someone is pulling invisible strings to control our emotions and reactions, and this often causes internal discomfort, irritation, and a feeling of loss of control over our own lives and decisions. Let's look at a few typical examples from everyday life in Western society to better understand these subtle tricks. Example 1. A clothing store salesperson in New York. You walk into a boutique to try on a pair of jeans. The salesperson, a young and very polite woman, immediately starts praising them. "Oh, these jeans are just made for you. They perfectly accentuate your figure, and this color is so on trend right now." All our stylists say this is the most successful model of the season. Before you even have a chance to say anything, she continues, "You know, there are only 2 pairs left, and they're flying off the shelves. If you don't take them now, I'm afraid they'll be gone by tomorrow." You feel a slight pressure. You might like them, but you're not sure if you need them right now. But the salesperson's words, "perfect for you, on trend, only 2 pairs left, flying off the shelves," play on your feelings of uniqueness, the desire to be fashionable, and the fear of missing out. You suddenly feel that you must buy them, otherwise you'll lose something. In reality, this is a classic tactic of scarcity and social proof. All the stylists say so, forcing you to make an impulsive decision. You buy the jeans, and then at home you think, "Why did I even need them?" and feel a slight irritation from having been persuaded. Example 2. A colleague at a London office. You have a colleague, let's say James. James never directly asks you to take on his share of the work, but he uses hints very skillfully. For example, he approaches you looking very tired, sighs heavily, and says, "Oh, this quarterly sales report. I just don't know how I'll get it done. I still have so many meetings, and my head is just spinning with thoughts of the upcoming tender. If I don't submit it on time, it will be a real disaster for the entire department. I'll try, of course, but I just feel like I can't pull it off." He looks at you with a martyr's expression. You, feeling uncomfortable, and perhaps experiencing sympathy or a desire to be a good colleague, offer yourself, "Listen, if you want, I can take a look at the report. Maybe I can help with something?" And just like that, you're staying late to finish his work, even though he didn't directly ask. James didn't manipulate you aggressively, but he skillfully played on your feelings of guilt, sympathy, and desire to help, shifting his responsibility. This is a subtle form of gaslighting, where you are made to doubt your ability not to help or to evoke guilt without direct accusation. Example 3. A friend using guilt tripping in Los Angeles. You've made plans with a friend to go to a concert, but at the last minute your plans change and you have to cancel. You inform him, and instead of understanding, he begins, "Well, yeah, of course. I knew it. You always do this. I already bought the tickets, we've been looking forward to this for so long, and I already told everyone we were going together. Now I'll look stupid alone. I don't know what I'm going to do now. I guess I won't go anywhere at all." He doesn't say directly, "It's your fault," but his words make you feel enormous guilt. You start thinking, "Oh my God, I'm a terrible friend. I let him down. I need to do something." And you might frantically start looking for someone to go with him instead of you, or even persuade yourself to go to the concert despite your other plans, just to relieve yourself of this oppressive feeling of guilt. Here, manipulation occurs through exaggerating consequences and projecting blame. Example 4. A boss using subtle threats in Chicago. Your boss wants you to work overtime on the weekend, but knows you've already planned a vacation. He doesn't say, "You have to work this weekend." Instead, he might say, this project is at a very critical stage right now. The future of the entire department depends on it, and, of course, the bonuses at the end of the year. I really hope the entire team understands the importance of the moment. After all, those who show maximum dedication now will always be prioritized when distributing promising projects and, of course, when considering promotions. He doesn't threaten directly, but his words clearly imply. If you don't agree, it could affect your career and financial well-being. You feel pressured and choose to work on the weekend, although in reality, this decision is dictated by a hidden threat. All these examples demonstrate that manipulation is not always loud and obvious. Often, it's like an invisible thread that someone pulls to control you. It can be playing on your emotions, guilt, fear of missing out, sympathy, on your internal needs to be good, to be recognized, to be competent, or on your tendency to comply. As a result, you feel internal discomfort, irritation, fatigue, and, most importantly, a feeling of loss of control over your own life and decisions. You do what benefits the other person, not yourself. We will talk about how to recognize these subtle tricks when they are just beginning to manifest, when you only feel this barely noticeable pressure. And, most importantly, how to disarm the manipulator with one simple but powerful method: break this invisible thread, regain control over the situation, and protect your boundaries without resorting to aggression, accusations, or retaliatory manipulation. Our goal is to give you a tool to restore your autonomy and create healthier, more honest, and transparent relationships. In the first part, we learn to recognize the subtle signs of manipulation, that elusive feeling of being invisibly pushed towards someone else's decisions using guilt, scarcity, or hidden threats. Now, it's time to reveal the essence of that very secret word, or, more precisely, a highly effective technique that instantly throws a manipulator off balance and returns control of the situation to you. This isn't a complex technique from NLP textbooks, but a skillful use of a person's natural reactions when they try to control a situation using vague phrasing, emotional pressure, or imposing someone else's viewpoint. The whole point of this technique is to ask calm, clarifying questions that demand specificity and facts. Manipulators thrive in a fog of uncertainty where they can freely play on your emotions, fears, and assumptions. They benefit from you feeling insecure, doubting yourself, and being unable to articulate your thoughts clearly. It is in this foggy zone that they feel in control. When you ask them to clarify exactly what they mean, to provide specific examples or facts on which their statements are based, they are forced to step out of their comfort zone of general phrases and emotional pressure and confront a reality that demands logic and clarity. Let's see how this works in practice using examples from everyday life. Example 1. Gaslighting and general accusations. Imagine a friend or partner who wants to make you feel guilty says, "You never listen to me," or "You always ignore my feelings." This is a classic manipulative phrase designed to make you justify yourself, defend yourself, and feel guilty even if you don't understand what they're talking about. Instead of immediately justifying, "No, that's not true. I always listen to you," or getting angry, "What are you talking about?" you can calmly pause, look the person in the eye, and ask, "What specifically happened that made you think that? When exactly did I not listen to you? Please give me a specific example." This question instantly changes the dynamic. The manipulator has to 1. Recall a specific instance. If their statement is based on emotion or a desire to manipulate, they will struggle to provide an exact example. 2. Step out of the accuser role. Now they have to justify their own accusation, rather than you listening to them. 3. Confront reality. If there's no specific example, their accusation crumbles. They might start mumbling, changing the subject, or admitting it was said in the heat of the moment. You are not accusing them, not arguing. You are simply asking for clarity, and this request for clarity disarms them. Example 2. A salesperson playing on emotions. Let's return to the example of the clothing salesperson who pressures you. All smart people buy this because it's the best investment for your wardrobe, or opportunities like this come once in a lifetime. You don't want to miss your chance. Instead of succumbing to pressure and impulsively buying, you can calmly clarify, "Can you provide specific data or studies that confirm this is the best investment for me? What specific benefits will I receive that justify this price? What risks are associated with this product if it doesn't turn out to be suitable?" This type of question forces the salesperson to shift from emotional slogans to facts. They will either have to provide concrete, measurable evidence, which is often impossible for manipulative claims, or admit to a lack of such information. Their manipulative tactics based on social proof, all smart people, and scarcity once in a lifetime. Lose their power when you demand specifics. Example 3. Covert shirking of responsibility. ***, imagine a colleague who subtly tries to get you to do their work. Like James from the previous part. I just don't know how I'll get it done. Instead of immediately offering your help, you can calmly and empathetically, but without taking on blame, ask, what exactly is preventing you right now? What specific part of the report can't you finish? What exactly are you having difficulty with? What have you already tried to do? These questions force them to articulate their problem clearly, instead of just complaining. Perhaps they will realize that the problem isn't that big, or they will find a solution themselves. If they try to shift responsibility, for example, I just don't know how to do that, you can continue, what exactly don't you know how to do? Where is the sticking point? You compel them to be specific, and this deprives them of the ability to manipulate your sympathy. How does this technique work, and why is it so disliked by manipulators? 1. Shifts the burden of proof to the manipulator. Instead of you justifying yourself, you make them prove their statements. They become the one who has to explain and argue, not you. This shifts the balance of power in the conversation. 2. Demands precision, dismantling vague statements. Manipulators love general, vague phrases that are difficult to verify and easy to play with. Your clarifying questions demand specifics, forcing them either to clarify their position, which is disadvantageous for them, or to admit that their words were empty. 3. Neutralizes emotional pressure. When you focus on facts and specifics, you shift the conversation from an emotional plane to a rational one. Manipulators find it very difficult to operate when their victim is calm and logical. Your questions show that you are not succumbing to emotional tricks but demanding a factual basis. This allows you to remain in control of your emotions rather than being led by others. 4. Gives you time to think and avoid hasty decisions. By asking clarifying questions, you create a pause. This pause gives you valuable seconds to analyze the situation, consider your next steps, and avoid making an impulsive decision under pressure. This allows you to maintain composure and make well-considered decisions rather than reacting automatically. This technique does not require aggression or retaliatory manipulation. It is based on your inner strength, calmness, and desire for clarity. You are not attacking, you are simply asking for honesty and specificity. Manipulators hate this trick because it deprives them of their main weapon, the ability to play on uncertainty, your emotions, and your tendency to comply. You don't let them corner you. Instead, you politely but firmly return responsibility for their words and demands to them, forcing them to be transparent or reveal their true intentions. In the concluding part, we will discuss how regular practice of this simple technique will help you become more self-confident, learn to better understand people's true intentions, and build healthier, more honest relationships where your opinion and feelings are respected and manipulation has no place. We have covered a significant ground in understanding manipulation, from recognizing subtle tricks in the first part to mastering a powerful technique, asking calm, clarifying questions, in the second. Now, it's time to conclude our investigation by highlighting the true nature of this trick and its long-term impact on your life and relationships. In conclusion, we emphasize that this trick is not a method of attack, but a powerful tool for self-defense and asserting your boundaries. This is not a battle where you must defeat or destroy an opponent. Rather, it is a way to regain balance, restore control over the situation, and protect your autonomy. You do not engage in open confrontation, do not use aggression or retaliatory manipulation that could destroy relationships. Instead, you simply demand clarity and consistency, thereby disarming the manipulator. Manipulators hate this technique because it deprives them of their main weapon, the ability to play on uncertainty, on your emotions, and on your natural tendency to comply. Their tactics are based on fog, on vague phrases, on creating feelings of guilt or fear that have no clear logical basis. When you ask for specifics, you dispel this fog. You expose their statements to the light of logic where they find it difficult to stand. You do not allow them to corner you, do not give them the opportunity to impose their agenda. Instead, you politely but firmly return to them the responsibility for their words and demands, forcing them to be transparent or to admit a lack of specificity. Why do manipulators dislike this technique so much? Disruption of their script. Manipulators usually operate according to pre-rehearsed patterns. Your clarifying question is a pattern interrupt. It forces them to improvise, which is very difficult to do when you don't have a genuine basis. Exposure of hidden motives. When you ask for specifics, the manipulator is forced to either vocalize their true, often selfish motives, which is disadvantageous for them, or to admit that their claims are baseless. Reduction of emotional intensity. Manipulation often relies on creating emotional pressure. Your calm, logical question shifts the conversation from the emotional sphere to the rational, depriving the manipulator of the ability to play on your feelings. Loss of control. The manipulator's goal is control. Your question seizes the initiative and returns it to you, forcing the manipulator to answer your questions rather than you responding to their statements. Absence of the reaction they expect justifications, anger, panic, or compliance. Your calm insistence on specifics is a completely unexpected reaction that throws them off balance. How will regular practice of this simple technique change your life? Self-confidence. The more often you successfully apply this technique, the stronger your self-confidence will grow. You will realize that you can protect your boundaries and not succumb to external influence. This feeling of inner strength will extend to other areas of your life. Better understanding of people's true intentions. By asking clarifying questions, you will begin to see people's true motives behind their words. You will learn to distinguish sincere requests from attempts at manipulation, which will allow you to make more informed decisions about whom and what to trust. Building healthy, honest relationships. When you demand clarity and do not allow yourself to be manipulated, you set new rules for the game. People who value and respect you will adapt to this, preferring honest communication. Those who are unwilling to abandon manipulation will gradually withdraw, making way for healthier connections. Your relationships will become more transparent and based on mutual respect, where your opinion and feelings are respected. Gaining inner freedom. Ultimately, this is a path to gaining inner freedom from external influence and the ability to live in accordance with your own decisions, values, and desires. You will stop feeling like a victim of circumstances or someone else's will, and you will become the master of your own life. You will make decisions based on your own convictions, not out of pressure or guilt. There are countless real-life examples where this works. Imagine telling an acquaintance who constantly forgets to pay back debts and complains about life, "I understand it's difficult for you. What specifically have you done to change your debt situation in the last 2 weeks? Or when exactly do you plan to return the portion of the sum you promised?" This is not aggression, but an invitation to responsibility and specificity. And it works much better than direct accusations. Start practicing this technique today. Begin small, with insignificant situations where you feel slight pressure or uncertainty. Ask calm, clarifying questions. Pay attention to the interlocutor's reaction. With each time, you will feel more confident and your ability to recognize and counter manipulation will grow. This is a skill that will become your reliable shield in any social interaction, allowing you to live more consciously, freely, and honestly.